We are live. This is Skai Juice coming to you live and direct. And we are here with the wonderful, the fabulous, the amazing Tony B in the house.
I'm here.
We're here with the Art of Living podcast. And we have a very interesting, amazing discussion to have this evening. I know this affects so many women, and I will say so many men, because of course, they go together, right?
Yeah.
The conversation today is all about fibroids and uterine fibroids. And Tony, would you like to jump in with what you know about fibroids? You know what fibroids are?
Well, from what I understand, it's like a tumorish type of issue that goes on inside a woman in the uterus, and it causes for a very, very, very uncomfortable. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to
all types of problems.
Yeah, I don't want to call it situation. I don't talk. It's just a way. It's from what I'm understanding, it's basically a way of life until you figure out some way to control it and get it under control or get rid of it. So I guess people are actually living with this. And one of the videos that I seen that I shared with you, one of the most, I guess, more extreme cases is when a woman is actually bleeding and hemorrhaging for almost 30 days, like at a time, and can't hardly even function. Like the young lady on the video that I sent you, she said she was losing so much blood that sometimes her husband would have to give her IVs to hydrate her because she was just losing that much. And she had to wear a diaper. Yeah.
So my sister, she had fibroids years ago, and it was ridiculous how horrible this thing got. And the worst part was she went to a doctor who didn't think it was a problem at first, the first doctor. And of course they were like, oh no, it's okay. Didn't give her any alert to deal with it. Right. So months went by, and they eventually grew to she was more than 9 months pregnant looking. She was this big. Wow. She had like 50 or more cluster. Like she had, it seemed like the picture that I got was like grapes. So just tons of all kinds of different sizes. Not one fibroid, but like fibroids, right?
Yeah.
So I was trying to tell her, and this was probably at least almost 20 years ago. And she eventually, the only recommendation the doctor had at that point was a hysterectomy.
Yeah. And it seems to be always the answer that they want to give, which is
that's usually surgery. And women don't realize out here that fibroids can be healed, can be shrunk, can be made, the body can consume them. And people just they don't know, don't realize, their doctors are definitely not telling them. And the other part of that is they are not willing to do what it takes to do the work to get them released out of their body, which is definitely life-changing. So I got some info. Ross Gussie, that's my cousin. He's in the comments. So basically fibroids are masses, I guess. Tumors would be another word, but they're masses of muscle cells that grow in the uterus. And women have painful sex. They have painful periods. They tend to bleed. In fact, I think you just said it was like one of the extreme cases. I don't even think that's extreme. I think women who have fibroids in general just tend to bleed a lot, no matter what level of fibroids. Maybe smaller ones, not as much, but once they just start growing, they tend to just bleed like just awful. And I know several women personally that have dealt with fibroids and are currently dealing with fibroids right now. And I just think it is just it's a hard thing to deal with. But the interesting thing about fibroids is it is a direct reflection of diet, like directly. Fibroids immediately, when a woman has fibroids, it's an immediate connection to her poor diet. And the same exact diet that she is eating that creates fibroids is the same diet that promotes erectile dysfunction in men
and women.
And women. Yeah.
It is funny.
So go ahead.
When we think about this, and we've done some shows about, healthy eating and all that. And if you it all comes full circle. With me, a lot of things come full circle. I talk about financial literacy in other areas. But for this, something that comes full circle with a lot is when we talk about diet has so much to do with your health, whether it be fibroids, whether it be erectile dysfunction, whether it be high blood pressure, whether it be heart disease, it's so many things. It's like it always comes back to the diet, and the American diet at that, for the most part. I seen somebody earlier on my social media timeline, and they were talking about a cancer issue that they developed, and not knowing that sugar feeds the cancer,
right.
Which is in so many, like I just recently heard about how ketchup has a lot of sugar in it, and that's something else that they kind of sneak it in on you. But sugar is in so much of the everyday diet, and the diet is just so much of what affects us. So when you talk about that, like the video I sent, they talk about detoxing. And when you're detoxing your body and giving your body a break, which we've talked about before, it gives it time to heal itself. And when it's healing itself, it will purge the fibroids out of your body and, whatever other impurities or toxins that you have in your body. So, I think the people that have these issues, and I'm not going to make it seem like it's easy, because it's not easy to be able to de-discipline in your diet, because we've been so accustomed to eating the things that we eat that are so good to us, too good to our palates. It just tastes so good, and we just got to have it. And then you feel like your body is craving it and all that, which is a whole different, topic in itself. But, when you get to that point to where it's causing you to not have, if you don't have, if your quality of life just is becoming zero.
So let's figure that out, because the thing about it is, I wonder if most people don't know what to do, because I think that the information is out here. Mm-hmm. We found it easily. I've been knowing about fibroid healing for tons of years.
You can post that link up too as well, in the comments.
A lot of people don't realize what to do. 1 second. Mm-hmm. Let me get it again. Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's a link on a video that we saw with Dr. Amun and Jesse on the Breakfast Club. They're talking about fibroids, but a lot of people just don't know what to do and how to heal them. Mm-hmm. And the reason how people got fibroids is because their system is taxed, like you said, with sugar and chemicals and processed foods. And the way to cure fibroids is to reverse that. So elimination of sugar, elimination of processed foods, elimination of foods that are not whole earth foods, like foods that are natural for us to eat, period. As soon as you start going into your whole food variety, your body just naturally starts to heal itself. And I'm not even talking about fibroids only. I'm talking about the whole body, like the cancers and all of the different issues. Yes. We really just need to, the whole standard American diet needs to be trashed, to tell you the truth. It just needs to be, it needs to be obliterated off the face of the earth, because what's going to happen? What's going to happen is we all think that the way we eat is just so normal and cultural and fun and delicious. We are killing ourselves. We're just going to obliterate the human race because we are so addicted to these chemicalized trash foods, period.
And we always have the mindset that if something is wrong with me, all I got to do is go to the doctors and they'll give me something that's going to fix it.
That
we're
that
so
right there.
dependent on these drugs that the pharmaceutical companies pump out to us. And not even that. I want to say the drugs. We're so dependent on saying if there's something wrong with me, all I got to go to the doctor and he'll give me something that's going to cure me. When sometimes we can cure ourselves if we just have that information. But I think we're not. It's not programmed to do that, because if that happens, then all of a sudden certain people aren't going to be able to generate money like they would normally.
Yeah, but also the thing about it is, like, do people become doctors to really heal people? I mean, if that's the oath that they took to help heal people, then the information is here. They can do it. I know a lot of times I tend to even think that doctors are really just salesmen for drug companies. They're just like, okay, you got this is what you take, you know what I mean? But like, if we're really about the healing, a medical doctor is one of the most respected people in our society. And if they're really about healing, like, let's really talk about healing, because healing is very simplified. That's the whole part of it. Healing is simplified. A lot of it is get out of your own way and let the body heal itself. Hibbs Lita, she posted a comment. I'm gonna read it. I feel that my mom has it based on the symptoms she disclosed to me. She did multiple tests and doctors can't understand what causing her symptoms, which in my mind is crazy. So are you saying that your mom has fibroids and she's basing her, what is she basing, that she has fibroids? She's trying to cure the symptoms. What's going on? A lot of it is going back to the source. I wanted to start talking about what the ways to heal fibroids, but I didn't know if I was getting on that conversation too early. Tony, you let me know.
What I was going to say, when we were talking about doctors in the whole medical field, and this might be going off a little bit, but I'm not going to go too much off. I'm just going to say, in this country, doctors actually did want to heal you at a particular time. And it was sometime in the early 70s when they thought about the connection between people's thinking about their mortality and being able to live, and how much money they would spend to be able to make that happen. And I think it was President Johnson. There's a documentary out there called Sicko. If you ever watch that, it goes into it. There's a recorded conversation where they talk about that conversation when we said, you know what, we can use these Blue Cross companies, and we can make money off of this. It was an actual conversation. It's recorded. And then once that happened, that's when the whole dynamic shifted and the medical industry turned into a money-driven machine. Whereas you can go to Canada, Mexico, all these places that are quote-unquote third world countries and beneath us and not supposed to be as well as us when it comes to medical, but they're actually better than us because their medical industry is
Cuba.
It's not Cuba. It's not money-driven. Ours is money-driven. If you look at some of the places, and we talked about it before, if we look at some of the places that you can go to and get medical treatment, and you look at even certain type of medicines, and it's almost 5 or 6 times much more here, and over there it's almost free. You know what I mean?
Actually, it's more than 5 or 6 times. Sometimes it's 100 times more.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, like you can get a Tylenol in the hospital. It's like $150 for 2 tablets. You know what I mean? It's something ridiculous. So Linda says resident and doctor suicide rates are high when they find out the Hippocratic Oath is actually a hoax. It's true. Yeah. And Gail Lawrence says go see a functional doctor. What's a functional doctor? Tell me about what a functional doctor is. But yeah, you're right. So basically a woman finds out she has fibroids, I guess, because usually she starts bleeding a lot. Now let me rewind before I get into the whole fibroid thing, because a lot of this starts off with younger teens with their cycle, their menstrual cycle. And I know for a fact when I was a young lady and I think I was still in my teens, when I first had my cycle, it was like the worst time of my life. I thought I was dying. I was in pain. You couldn't touch me. My back was killing me. I had cramps. There was just so much trauma and pain and suffering that I had with this whole menstrual cycle, right? At 14 years old, I became a vegetarian. Really wasn't a hardcore vegan at the time, but I really can't even remember if I was really about the dairy, like cheese and stuff, like maybe occasionally, but I definitely completely stopped eating meat hardcore, like, and I can tell you right now that I stopped having cramps in almost immediately. Like it just stopped. And it was the best feeling I ever had, just having my cycle and it just being like I can function, because I literally had to take the day off from school. That's how disgusting I felt, right? I'll get to the comments. Let me just finish this thought. So anyway, so fast forward, since that age, my cycle has been like a wonderful thing for me. Like for most women, they hate it. It's like, oh, my cycle. Just the energy that women have about their whole reproductive organs, they hate them. They don't even give their reproductive organs any love. You know what I mean? I was like, I hate it. So that's another thing. That's like an energetic thing, right? That's an energetic, spiritual energy that women put on their organs because they cause pain, right? And once you can release that pain and embrace the fact that this is a beautiful part of your body and it shouldn't be uncomfortable, then I think a lot of women can relax. Cesar Anibal, if this is the same Cesar I know from back home, St. Croix, he says, I feel that doctors are programmed that have been put together to feed into big pharma. Absolutely. Yeah. Gail says, most mainstream docs get one class on nutrition and don't understand the epigenetics piece. She also says, Dr. Christine Northrup says fibroids are lack of iodine. That's pretty interesting. Definitely goes back to nutrients. So anyway, fast forward into the whole fibroids thing. I mean, fibroids are a clear sign that women's bodies are out of balance. And the easiest way, anytime, so my cousin, this is what happened last night. My cousin called me and she said that she was at the doctor and she has fibroids, and the doctor said that she has to have a hysterectomy and she wants to have children. And I said to her, hey, she said the first thing she said in her mind was she has to call Sky. That's pretty cool. Anyway, so I said, look, you can do this. First of all, mind over matter. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if it were me, this is what happens, right? If it were me, if I was on a mission to heal this out of my body, I would just stop everything. I mean, not work, but just stop the eating of all of everything and just go on a strict water fast for like 10 days, maybe stop, break the fast, do raw food for a few days and go back into the water fast until this thing consumes itself. Because when you fast, your body consumes that which doesn't belong and you can start shrinking this thing, right?
Yes.
However, my cousin is like 115 pounds. She's very thin. She's very small. She's a smaller person.
She can't afford to be
losing. She doesn't have enough fat reserves on her body to fast that long. So what I told her is, and if she loses too much weight, she's going to really look emaciated and blah, blah, blah. Even though I said to her, you know, part of healing, you might have to go into that scary part. But you can do it another way, which is a slower way, is just go heavy raw. Go raw food, raw vegan, eliminate foods that are sugar forming. Like don't do high fruit. You could do a little, but don't do high fruit. Basically be on the salad diet. Be on all about your greens, leafy greens, add your mushrooms, your garlic, ginger, like put all kinds of stuff. You could slice turmeric in there. You could slice celery, cucumbers, you could take your blueberries, which are low glycemic fruits, blend them. You could pour that over your salad, slice up some avocado for fat, like good fat, and give it heavier calories, and do that in the large quantity, like eat this much so you can really be nutrified and get enough calories in for energy so you can keep functioning.
Especially if you have a job, but if you have a job that you sit down, you really don't need a lot of those extra calories to help. You know,
right. And the fact that she works from home, you know, she said she's gonna go for it. So let me see. Some of these comments are okay. On the energy side, this is Gail. Go look to Louise Hay in her book, You Can Heal Your Life. Exactly. I know that book. Louise Hay, she passed away already, but I've been following her for years. And Louise Hay is that woman who basically looks at the energetic connection to disease. For example, breast cancer in women. Most, like they say, like 90 something percent of breast cancer in women starts on the left breast. The left breast is over the heart. And so energetically, breast cancer is stimulated by heartbreak.
Wow.
Linda says, because you were eating factory farmed meat fed in corn and soy turns the meat into high omega-6 EFAs, inflammatory. Eat grass fed as nature intended, anti-inflammatory and important fats. Absolutely. Wow. Thank you, Linda. Cesar, I had a moment that I had too much on my plate and my doctor put me on Zoloft. Took it for one day and felt weird. Thank goodness for people like Charlene Springer. Yes, this is a Virgin Islands connection. Yeah. And my yoga instructor. I'm no longer on that and do yoga and lots of meditation. Namaste. So I've known Cesar my whole life, like since I was little. So that's pretty good. I love Cesar. Sonia, my mom had them and her option was a hysterectomy. It's like, why is the first option a whole entire womb removal? Like, why is that the option? Like, is there like some step, like who's gone to the doctor who's had fibroids and they've given you some other alternatives to hysterectomy? Can anyone post that in the comments? Because I always hear hysterectomy. I never hear like,
you know what I think about the hysterectomy? Because it costs so much to do that. That's not a cheap procedure. So how do you make some money? Tell them to take it out their body and charge them $50,000 to do it, or charge their insurance $50,000. Yes. I don't even know how much it is. You know what? It's nothing cheap.
No, it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it's actually, I feel the same way. And also,
it's not a conspiracy.
It's the same thing with birthing. Why so many women have C-sections over natural birth. I mean, you can see a perfectly healthy woman, like she runs track. I mean, everything about her shows that you can just push a baby out and something comes up and she has to get a C-section, and it just irritates me.
It's not a conspiracy. It's a proven fact that we live in a country where the medical industry is money driven.
It's just disrespectful.
It's money driven. It's definitely money driven. So anywhere they can make money, people know about big pharma. You know, nobody's dumb. We got a lot of comments going on here.
I get irritated. Gail's like, why take it out? We're giving our organs for a reason. Sonia's like, yes, Gail, exactly. We're having a whole conversation in the comments section.
Yeah. We got a lot of input here.
Sonia put it down. She said it's the start of population control, in my opinion. I was thinking that, Sonia. I was thinking that. Sonia is a friend of mine. She's all the way, I believe where are you, in Taiwan? Or she's in one of the Asian countries out there, over yonder. See how the power of technology brings us all together.
That part.
Wow, this is a really good time. Michelle. Michelle I went to school with Michelle. If this is the same Michelle George, I believe this is. Anyway, I have switched to eating organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, and I have seen a difference in when that time of the month comes around. No bloating, back pain, knee pain, etc. Exactly. I know for a fact your food affects that completely. Sea Clouds, another friend. Sea Clouds is out of Perth, Australia. She actually came to Puerto Rico and did a wellness retreat with me. She says, I'm planning another fast. Main aim, coconuts. They are a miracle. Coconut water fasting is brilliant. Yes, it is. Sea Clouds, message me. Let's do it together. I'm all about that. Gail says both fear and money. Ras Gussie, 100%. Sonia says she's in Taiwan. Yep. Ras Gussie says healthcare system, not health cure system. That would be actually better? Can we have a health cure system? Because a lot of stuff is curable. I just feel like I honestly feel cancer is curable. You know what I'm saying? Cancer is curable.
There's no money in the cure.
I mean, that's the whole fact right there. Kai O'Brien, a lot of people say it's caused by estrogen dominance, but all my hormones and blood work came back negative. So there is a genetic component to it. Both my mom, myself got them in the late 30s. I don't know that for a fact, Kai. I do know that some people have said that diabetes is genetic, but diabetes is not a genetic disorder. Diet is. So in most likely cases, you and your mom eat the same way. That's the way I would view it, because certain things are not genetic at all, but diet is genetic. Like the way your mama eats is the way you eat, because the way your mama cooks is the way you cook. So if you're both not eating foods that are healing to the body, natural and supernatural foods that are healing to the body, you probably will have the same health challenges. I mean, that is what I've seen, you know? There's a meme that was out there, like, what does it say? I can't remember. It'll come back to me. Kai says, my mom is a vegan, I am not. So you're saying you both don't have the same diet? I'm not sure. I don't know.
The only way you have to say, I know she wasn't always a vegan and you wasn't always not a vegan. So it had to be a certain point in time.
I'm just saying, I don't believe fibroids are genetic disorder. I don't believe they are, from what I've read. I'm not saying they can't be. Maybe they are. But most of the times, I know when people say that it possibly is genetic, it's really not genetic. It's dietary. It's because families eat the same types of foods. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Even my thought on genetics, if something is genetically off in you, I still feel that the human body can correct that. The human body can heal itself. You just have to give it the tools. And I've said it before, and I learned it myself, that the reason why the human body is not able to cure itself, because it's always busy fighting off all these toxins that we're breathing in, these foods that we're eating, all these food with these preservatives and all these different hormones and all that. It's always fighting your liver, your kidneys, everything. Your body's always fighting. If you give it a break, quote unquote, a detox or fast, it has a break. It doesn't have to do all of that trying to flush this out and flush that out. It can actually start healing itself, working on itself, instead of fighting all the things that you're putting in it. That's the thing. Yes. I didn't know that myself. I just learned that probably within the last 5 to 10 years.
I don't know if you guys know Dr. Kirk Tyson, but he is a naturopathic doctor. I'm going to see if I can get him on here. He actually he was in that movie called, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was based on healing at the wellness center, Tree of Life in Arizona. It was like a documentary a long time ago. Anyway, he was from Baltimore, and I actually got to meet him and what have you. And he was so impressed with the information that he received there. They were put on a 30-day raw food, and these were all diabetics. And after the 30 days, those who stayed throughout the 30 days, because a few of them dropped out. Those who stayed in the program, a couple of them, he was one of them, had no diabetes. Like their sugar levels or whatever they measure, I think it was their glycemic levels, were so low. And it inspired him so much. He went on to school and to become a naturopathic doctor. Long story short, I had interviewed him years ago, and I'm going to try to message him and see if he'll come back on. He talked about the fact that he thought he had type 2 diabetes, which is curable through diet, right? But come to find out later, he actually had type 1, which is considered uncurable, which he cured, interestingly. Hibbs Lita said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've noticed women who have a lot of weight or more weight than they're supposed to have are always the ones with the issue. So not necessarily, I think maybe the weight definitely can be an issue. But like I said, my cousin is 120 or 115, but she's thin and she has fibroids. So I don't necessarily think it's a weight thing. I think that could be one of the factors. Oh, C Cloud says medical modules in my experience so far always seem to play the blame with genetics. Interesting, but I would like to know how this research provides this information. It's a healthy life or lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
But those foods can cause certain genes to express and others to turn off. Which foods, Gail? Which foods are you talking about? Dr. Keisha Edwards is another functional medical doctor. What is a functional medical doctor? Is that a doc? I'm gonna Google it right now.
Look that up, yeah. Look it up and get a definition of that, yeah.
Functional. I'm here learning as we do this. Functional MD. Functional medicine.
What weight is a woman supposed to be? That's
okay. Wait.
I'll leave that one alone. I'll let you answer that one.
Okay, here it is. Functional medicine is a systems biology-based approach that focuses on identifying and addressing the root cause of disease. Functional medicine doctors use specialized training and techniques to find the root cause of complex illnesses. They may investigate multiple factors causing a condition, or they may look into multiple conditions causing one symptom. Functional medicine, it's a form of alternative medicine that encompasses a number of unproven and disproven methods and treatments. Oh, I'm all about this. I'm gonna look for a functional doctor. Thank you, Gail. Cesar said, what weight is a woman supposed to be? I don't think there's a particular weight, Cesar.
I'm leaving that one alone. No comment.
But a lot of the weight, here's the thing about, I think, let me scroll up with these comments. Hibbs Lita, the thing about, it's not that women who have a lot of weight are more susceptible to fibroids. It's women who have a lot of waste are more susceptible to fibroids. So you have more waste in your body. Get what I'm saying? There's a difference.
Clean out your plumbing.
Yeah, all of that. Kai says, I can see what you're saying about me because I'm not vegan, but my mom been vegan since her 20s, and she's now in her 50s. So there's more than foods in her situation. Also, let's be clear, and I don't know your mom's diet, and not all vegans are healthy. So a lot of people eat vegan and think, well, she's vegan and this person is vegan, so they should be. I'm not vegan, but I'm closest to vegan, and I gain weight. So it's a lot of what you eat, not necessarily that it's vegan. Is your mom like raw vegan? Is she very like, don't answer that. It's rhetorical.
What do they say?
I'm just saying, huh?
They say a potato is a vegetable, right? But eat that every day and see what happens to you.
Well,
I'm just saying. Now we talk about a sweet potato that's different. A regular white potato.
I don't think a white potato is bad. A fried white potato is bad.
You don't think there's any carbs in a white potato, even if you don't fry it?
You need carbs. You can eat carbs.
Yeah, eat that every day and see what happens.
There's nothing wrong with carbs. Carbs aren't the culprit. We need carbs, but I'm just saying.
You don't need too much of it though, right?
We don't need too much of it. Depends on how hard you work, how much energy you need. It's energy. Anytime you see a carb, that's energy.
If you eat overabundance
of fried potato, huh?
If you eat an overabundance of green leafy vegetables, it's not going to have too much of an adverse effect on you. But if you eat an overabundance of white potatoes, whether or not if it's not fried, it's boiled, or whatever the case may be, it's not going to be good for you in the end, on long term.
It's not going to hurt you either. If you are burning your calories, if you are working out, if you have a job that you have to expend a lot of energy, you need to have enough calories to do that work. So if you eat a plate of potatoes, of boiled potatoes every day, I mean, I'm sure you're not going to eat potatoes only, but if you eat a plate of potatoes every day, you're going to use that energy and you're going to burn it. The only thing about potatoes is pure energy, but now you need the nutrients. You need more phytonutrients in your system to get more, like a variety of nutrients. So yes, potatoes are okay. However, not like, and you know why? And that fact, I'm going to prove it. Like most of the entire world eats rice. And like you look at like the whole of Asia and Africa, when they eat rice, they eat a plate of rice like a whole mountain of rice, a big plate of rice, because this is all energy. but they put veggies with it or whatever they put on it because they are introducing nutrients into their body. So one is energy, one is nutrients. Okay. Gail says, and the functional medicine docs have more training than your everyday doc. They probably also study the body and they probably, I got to look into that, Gail. You just made my whole night. Ross Gussie says pesticides and synthetic fertilizers also are to blame and cause major problems. So even if the packaging says organic, it's not 100%. It just meets industry standards. Facts.
Henceforth, your body is fighting all those chemicals and trying to flush it out. You know, your liver and your kidneys. Yeah.
Helena called, they are starch, but a simple carb, they don't last long. Yeah. So basically, so, you know, you can heal your body. I mean, this conversation went from fibroids to just healing in general, but it's all related because
it's full circle. Yeah,
it's all related. But I know women who are suffering from fibroids, and honestly, ladies, if you do get to see this at any point in time, my highest recommendation is definitely like, don't consider hysterectomy. Like that should be actually, there's another video that I saw about a woman who talked about, she went to True North Health Institute and she healed herself of fibroids going and doing a water fast. Water fasting is so amazing, and folks need to stop being scared of not eating, because the first thing people feel is like, oh, I'm going to be hungry. And the truth of the matter is you're not going to be hungry.
Yeah.
You're not going to be hungry. Like you might be hungry like the first day and you just keep drinking water, and then it goes away, and then after a while, you don't even have the desire for food. And the fact that your body is healing itself, I mean, you can't even beat that. Biomechanics.
A job that's not really physical, because if you're on a water fast by itself and you have a physically tasking,
you can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't do it. If you had to work the kind of work you do, the lightest I would go with food. Like if you just wanted to do like a detox.
I've done 3 days before with a physically demanding job. I was able to do water only, but after that third day, I needed some trail mix or something, because I needed something to sustain. Yeah,
needed some more. Yeah. That's good. 3 days is longer than I would have said, but I would have said instead of going that hardcore, because water fasting, when you're fasting, you're resting. Your body is resting, so you shouldn't really be doing any real strenuous activity, but like walking from here to there to the bathroom, that kind of thing. But for you or for someone who just really had to work and drive and lift, and maybe like smoothies, just fruits, not fruit smoothies, a little bit of fruit and more greens, and even like avocado, and just blend it and just have these big pitchers, put coconut water in it, and then just have these big pitchers. And these are like pre-digested smoothies that will help you with your cleansing. C Cloud says, I keep telling a friend to fast, but she's just too scared. But if she was to step into the journey, oh my God, the benefits, it cannot even paint a picture, something to experience.
Yes, absolutely.
It really is.
Just give it a try.
I wonder how many people here have fasted before.
And
if you fasted, put a 1 in the comments.
And something that I heard about fasting too is that you can start slowly, meaning just go 24 hours with no food. And then the next time try 48 hours, and then the next time try, so your body is gradually kind of getting used to not having any nourishment in it, and it actually can feed on itself, so that's one thing.
So Sarah says, do you believe that the body is able to flush out any ailing disease, including cancer and or HIV? Yes, Cesar, definitely. I believe the body can heal itself completely.
Yes.
In all ways.
The body is self-healing. Yeah, the body is self-healing.
Yes. In all ways. You can. What kind of fast, Michelle, did you do? Yeah, in all ways. The body can heal itself, and we really need to we really need to recognize that the body is a self-healing organism. And you just have to let go and basically let God, for those who believe, because There's so much info. I've studied a lot of information on fasting, and if I had fibroids, back to the topic, if I had fibroids, if I had any ailment, in fact, I'm gonna tell you about the when I had a restaurant in Baltimore. It was a vegan spot, and it was the only one in the city at the time. And all kinds of people came in. It was really cool. This particular group of guys, I think they were construction workers, and they were like a team. They worked either in the same company or whatever. They looked like Harley Davidson guys, like motorcycle guys. They came in trucks though, but they had like black leather, and they had this just like this rock star kind of look. But the funny thing is, it wasn't black leather because they were really vegan and they didn't have any leather. So it was like black pleather or whatever. Seriously, right? Mm-hmm. So this one guy who was the older of the group, who would come in all the time, and I got to meet his wife, and they had like the crew and everything, and then they would just buy all this food for me, and it was just a wonderful thing. I noticed one day I didn't see him for a while, and then he came in and he was thin. He was very thin. And I said, wow, you lost a lot of weight. What's going on? And he said, it's the big C. And I had no clue of what he was talking about. Mm-hmm. And he said, I just don't want to call it out loud. I don't want to say what it is. I don't want to say it out loud. And then it dawned on me what he was talking about. He was talking about he had cancer, and he was buying food for the crew, but he was on a water fast. And that was the first time I heard about water fasting, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, I said, well, how long are you going for? He said, till it's gone out of my body.
Wow.
And when he said that, I got goosebumps. Like, I was just like, wow. So he was going to not stop this fast until the cancer was gone. And that meant to me, he was saving his own life. He was healing his own self, and he was not stopping until it was done. I just thought that was so friggin' powerful and smart. That was just smart, you know? Gail says, you were talking about disease, but being all genetic, it's also the foods that play into the genetics. And depending on what is going on with your body, autoimmune, parasites, menopause, etc., can shift how a food, apple, is seen by your body. A dried apple, high simple carb, to a person with insulin resistance will be seen and processed differently than the person who has no insulin resistance. Absolutely. Michelle says she did a fruit fast one time for a week. Michelle, how did that feel? So when you say fruit fast, did you eat fruits only for a week, or did you blend them and have like smoothies for the week? What did you do? And it wouldn't be called a fast per se, because you're still consuming nutrients. What it would technically be called is a fruit feast, because you're just feasting on fruit. But that's just nerd Skai talking.
Yeah, that's
technical. Ross Gussie says not to get religious, but that's why practicing Ramadan is important, even if you are not Muslim, but the fasting is what is important. So Muslims practice what is commonly known in the layman's terms as intermittent fasting. That's what they do, because they break the fast at sundown.
At sundown, yeah.
And they eat, the only thing about the Ramadan fasting, health-wise, it's more of a spiritual fast, right? But there's a health implication. Now, people do lose weight doing it because they're physically active all throughout the day. And I think the only thing, can they even drink water? I think they can drink water.
I think water, yeah, is the only thing.
I think they can drink water during the day, but that's it. But the only thing that I have seen is like at sunset, they eat a lot, and then at sunrise, before the sun rises, they wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and eat a lot again. And I don't know if that's really, people have been doing it for thousands of years, so like, what am I to say that? I think the body processes it, but I just always had this confusion with like the way that they eat. Like, I think a friend of mine, she was in college with me. She was all about dates. They did a lot of dates. Michelle said, LOL. Okay, understand. Thanks for that. I ate fresh fruits only and felt lighter and had a little more energy. But you're going to still cleanse your body on just eating fruits for a week. I mean, you can do mono fruit island. I don't know if anyone has heard of that. You can just buy apples or oranges and eat them 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. Even like for you, for what kind of work you do, Tony, you know. Drinking water is only hardcore if your work is hardcore. If you're working on a computer or you're not really physically active, you could do a water fast regardless. Because I've been in water fasting groups right here on Facebook. In fact, Sea Clouds was in that group with me. And we did a 21-day water fast, and everyone in the group was all around the country, and they were working, driving to work, etc. But mostly everyone was not doing a physically active job. Like if you're just like on the computer, then that's fine. But if you gotta like get up, get down, sit up, lift, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
So, so back to the fibroids. I mean, it's all inclusive, actually. I just feel it's all inclusive.
Yeah.
Fasting will heal you. In fact, the videos that I posted, I'm going to post it again so you guys can check it out. There are herbs that you can take for fibroids, but I really just think that, like, I just go with if it were me kind of thing. I would just stop eating and just hit the herb, hit the water, straight hardcore.
If you start getting into that mindset of understanding the body can heal itself, and then you say, okay, I'm going to start letting my body heal itself by giving it a break. And that's the biggest thing I always stress, because I understood it when they said, give your body a break. And if you give your body a break, it can start working on itself instead of working on everything you're putting into it every single day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I posted a video that was on the Breakfast Club, and they were talking about fibroids and a couple women on there who had fibroids and how they healed them. A big part of it was fasting. And the thing about fasting is that fasting is discipline. That's all it is. And that's why it becomes a spiritual practice. That's why fasting is a spiritual practice, because discipline is spirituality. That is the connection between you and your higher power, or whatever you call it. That's what happens to us. You know why? Because we live in a world right now. We live in a world that is super high tech. We're here communicating like in real time. We can see each other, beautiful skin, and we have people messaging us from all over around the world, blah, blah, blah. We're so high tech and so like we're so far out, we're so far behind in the real truth because we're so disconnected from spirit. And the fact of the matter is, one thing, the reason why people should start learning how to fast for fibroids, for erectile dysfunction, for diabetes, for heartbreak, for drama, for bullshit. No, for real. When you fast, when you really start to fast, and really, if it's a day fast, a week fast, a 21-day fast, a 3-hour fast, when you just fast and stop eating, people don't realize how deep eating is in connection to every form of memory.
Talk about brain fog and how that kind of clears up while you're fasting. Give them a little information on that.
Well, a lot of times, so the interesting thing about fasting is it's such a miraculous thing. And I'm talking about true fasting. You can do all the different types of, like, the fruiting, just doing all fruit. You can do all raw, you can do all smoothies, you can do all juices. I do a lot of juices. But really getting the opportunity to do a true fast is such an amazing, Gail posted some information. Gail is on it tonight. Thank you, Gail. Juice fasting, water fasting, you're going to go up and you're going to go down, right?
Mm-hmm.
If someone decides to say, I really want to heal my body and go through the process, right? There's water fasting groups. There's water fasting doctors. You can be medically supervised if you're afraid that you might get hurt, or you might, maybe you have health challenges that you need to monitor. Then I would definitely recommend you consulting with someone who actually does this for a living. And there are some amazing places. I think the best place in the country is True North Institute in California. And they'll put you on a water fast from, depending on your ailments or your goals, from 10 to 40 days on water. And it's not only how you fast, how long you fast, it's also how you break the fast. You can't be on water for 10 days or 7 days or any amount of time and then tomorrow go and eat a whole plate of food.
Yeah, go have a steak or something like that. Yeah.
You will be so in pain. Your stomach wouldn't even know what the hell is going on. Exactly. Your stomach basically goes back to a baby state. So it's just like a baby. You got to start introducing foods one at a time. The number one food that's introduced, your first meal after breaking a fast, is a piece of watermelon about that big. And it's just to gently open up the stomach again and gently get it, the acids to start getting ready for breaking down food. But fasting,
I heard broth as well.
You could do a broth, but not salty. Not like, you don't want to introduce anything too fast, too hard.
No. Yeah, a natural broth. Yeah.
But yeah, we should do a fast, Tony.
I'm ready whenever you are. I was thinking about doing one again next week. I did one a couple of weeks ago and kind of kicked all this stuff off. So
yes, I got juices. I don't have, everyone has water, but let's do it. Let's get a group together. Who wants to do a fast with us? Just let us know, because the healing has to begin. People are sick. Another thing about that is like the whole pandemic thing, since we're within a pandemic, the thing about a pandemic is, like I've never really been afraid of it, because fasting is going to kill a virus too. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really worry about, I'm fearless against health. I mean, that doesn't mean I wouldn't call anything on myself, but I'm fearless because I know the power of fasting. Even fibroids, ladies, fast. All right. Michelle says the water fast sounds interesting, but I'm afraid of losing weight. I'm already small. Michelle, I think you are the same Michelle from back home. Michelle, are you the same Michelle we went to school back home? Because Michelle George is her name. So let me know. So Sarah means you really need to come back home and put together a healing and health food restaurant. Sarah, come back to St. Croix. Gail, The Juice Lady's Guide to Juicing for Health by Sherry Calvin MS. She might have a juice recipe for fibroids. Interesting. If it's a juice recipe for fibroids, it definitely won't have fruit or very low glycemic fruit, because it's usually like sugar. Sherry Calbum. Sky, when I'm ready, coconut fast, 6 weeks goal aim. Are you in? Yes. Coconut water is a really good one to do too, because coconut water is very healing to the body. And a lot of times water is probably like too, definitely doesn't have flavor. So it just gets really boring really fast. And coconut water has like a nice sweet taste to it. You know what I mean? And yeah, so you could do 40 days on coconut water. Who wants to do 40 days on coconut water with me?
Where would you suggest someone get the coconut water from? And what kind?
Okay, the number one choice is out of a coconut, like at the Asian market, if you live in the United States, and open it. If not, if that's too expensive or not accessible, then get the coconut water that is the highest grade is the raw coconut water, which is, I forgot the name of the company, but if it's in a can, that's going to be a hard no. If it's in a bottle, like square cardboard, like a milk crate kind of bottle thing, that would be a better coconut water to get. That's what I've gotten. That's have been easy and stuff like that. Have you experienced a Herxheimer reaction doing the fast? Okay, Gail, you got me on this Google right now.
Google it, because I have no idea what that is.
Herxheimer reaction is Jarisch-Herxheimer reaction is a transient clinical phenomenon that occurs in patients infected by spirochetes who undergo antibiotic treatment. The reaction occurs within 24 hours of antibiotic treatment of, okay, that doesn't, Herc's reaction is, a reaction refers to an adverse response to toxins released by bacteria and fungus when they are killed by antibiotics and okay, I get it. Okay, what it is, or what I got, this is what is called a healing crisis, right? This is what I'm getting it is. So basically, a lot of people, specifically like meat, right, Gail, exactly, just an overload of toxins trying to get out. So what happens is a lot of people who eat lots of meat and heavy foods and fried chicken and blah, 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 right? And then you say, girl, go vegan, girl, go get you some juices and go eat some salads and all that kind of stuff. Yes, you're going to be fine, right? And they do in the first couple days, they hit the toilet running. Their bodies, they start to sweat, their mouth, I mean, just all kinds of craziness starts happening. You know what happens? They say, oh, it wasn't working for me. I got sick.
It was working. That's what was happening. It was flushing out.
No, it wasn't working. I got sick. I can't, it wasn't, my body didn't react well. I need to eat like, steak with butter on top, like, so that term that you use is another term for a healing crisis. So it's basically the body is purging out the shiznit out of the system in whatever way it has to through the sometimes people get like really funky coming out the skin, like just bleh.
Yeah.
Their mouth, their tongue is coated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The bathroom, the toilet is like, the colon is like,
yeah,
throwing up. I mean, whatever it takes to get it out. Some people get, like, I had a friend who did a fruit thing for like months, and his eyes started, mucus and stuff started coming out of his eyeballs, just coming out. So yes, have I experienced it personally? I mean, the only kind of like detox thing that really hit me that I can remember is like running to the bathroom, headaches, like indigestion. Sometimes I remember getting pain. Sometimes you just have pain, like just pain in your body. So yeah, I feel like I've experienced some cleansing reactions for sure, because I haven't always been an angel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The headaches were for me. I got some headaches and stuff. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Frankincense, helichrysum, oregano, lavender are oils that help with fibroids. Place 3 drops of oil in douche, dilute as recommended. Apply to reflex points on feet. Modern essentials. Definitely oregano oil is a top oil. Gail says it's pretty scary, and I've put myself in the ER twice with this reaction. I'm not a meat eater though. So you know what a lot of it could be too, Gail? It doesn't necessarily have to be just like meat and garbagey foods. It could also be emotion, because a lot of times people like are holding on to stuff, and you cleanse your body through like whatever fasting or healing or changing of diet or what have you, and all this emotional stuff comes out, and emotions translates into like physical body stuff, like, heartbreak, you feel it, like you could really feel heartbreak, like it's a physical, there's an emotional and then a physical reaction, right? What else? Stress. When you get stressed out, your body reacts almost immediately. So it's just like when you start cleansing, all of those emotional triggers and things that you've been carrying start releasing as well. So
I realized I had an emotional connection to food, because after like the second or third day of not eating anything, I was depressed, because it let me know how much I would look forward to treating myself, to eating something good, because I worked so hard, and now I'm like, I'm not able to treat myself. And that was too much. Like that lets you know how bad your emotional connection to food is, when that's something that you just look forward to,
And it's an emotional connection, and it's a chemical it's a chemical addiction.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I already know I'm addicted, and I'm fighting every day. So
stay in the fight.
Oh, I'm there. So, but anyway, thank you all. It is time to stop. This was good. I talk a lot when I talk about wellness. Gail says the liver in Chinese medicine is what holds anger, and the liver processes all toxins, including emotional. Thank you for the reminder. Boom, boom.
Oh, okay.
I wish I had sound effects. I like the ones with like the fireworks. So, but anyway, y'all have a great evening, and please like and share and tell everyone. And we will be back with more interesting conversations. This is the Art of Living podcast. Skai Juice in the house with Tony B. See y'all. Thanks, Michelle.